Hi, welcome to my Mauser Kar98k review series. This will be part 1. Part 1 will cover operation and maintenance of the Kar98k as well as aiming, firing, loading, and unloading. Basically what you need to know once you're in the field. If you're completely unfamiliar with this weapon, this will be the part to watch. If you're already familiar, go ahead and watch parts 2 and 3. Part 2 will cover accessories and available ammunition for the Kar98k. And part 3, last but not least, will be the history of this fantastic weapon, starting from the model 1898. So welcome, and go ahead and watch whichever part is applicable to you. The Kar98k or K98k was introduced in 1935 into the German Armed Forces, or the Wehrmacht, and it was the final evolution, if you will, of the German Mauser rifle family developed by Peter Paul Mauser in the 1800s. The Kar98k was a refined version or tuned version of the Mauser Standardmodell or standard model, which was an interwar rifle that saw export and use around the world. A very quick note about the name of the Kar98k. Most people are aware of the fact Kar98k or K98k stands for Karabiner Model 98 Kurz, which translates to Carbine Model 98 Short. The Germans are not doubling up on themselves there. Carbine, in the German sense of the word, does not necessarily mean a shortened barrel or a short length weapon. The Karabiner, in the German sense of the word, simply means the weapon has a side-mounted sling, as you can see here, as opposed to having the sling slung underneath. Before you operate the weapon in an area like your house or my home, you should always make sure that the weapon is empty and safe to work for function. In this case, I've already made sure that the weapon is empty, but just to show you, the way you would check is you would lift the bolt and pull to the rear, just like any other bolt action. You'd inspect the chamber and the magazine. I prefer the pinky check. There's nothing in the chamber, and there's nothing in the magazine. I prefer the pinky check just because it works under any light condition. Most people get by just fine on a visual check. Now, with the Mauser Kar98k, you cannot push the bolt forward on an empty chamber. That's because the follower in the magazine pops up and prevents you from doing so. That's to let the soldier know that he needs to reload his weapon. You do have to push down on the follower to close it when there's nothing in the magazine. You'll notice the cocking piece is extended. You can feel it with your finger in the dark. That's to let the soldier know that the weapon is cocked. It's a visual and physical indicator. When the weapon is fired or uncocked, this will retreat back into the bolt body. And just because the weapon is unloaded, there you go. The safety has 3 positions. The safety is located right there. It's called a wing safety. It will only work when the weapon is cocked. So, right now it's in the left position, which allows for cycling of the bolt. Whoops. And the trigger to be pulled. The second position is the upright position. You'll hear it click into place. This allows for the bolt to be cycled, but the trigger cannot be pulled. In the right position, the bolt cannot be cycled, it's locked, and obviously the weapon will not fire. Okay, this section will cover bolt disassembly and bolt takedown for general maintenance and the like. First off, you need to make sure your rifle is cocked but empty. This rifle is empty but cocked. And that you put the safety in the upright position. That's extremely important. If you don't put it in the upright position, you will screw up. It's a common mistake, and it can be fixed, but it's a pain in the butt. Now, to take the bolt out of the rifle, just lift up, pull back, and you'll see a release tab right here. Pull down on that, and take the bolt out of the rifle. Now you have the bolt. To take the bolt apart, you'll see a little button here. Push down on that button and start twisting counterclockwise. It should just come apart. Now you have the bolt body and the firing pin, firing spring, and the safety housing and the cocking piece. The next step will involve the stock of the rifle. To further disassemble your bolt, like I said, you need your stock because there's a washer in the stock that you take your this whole assembly here and you stick it in there. That's to prevent you from bending the firing pin. And what you need to do is you need to compress the spring until you get far enough where you can twist the cocking piece 90 degrees and off, because that's what holds everything in place. So again, push, twist this 90 degrees and rotate, and then slowly release. It does hurt a bit. And then now you have everything in their individual components. Firing pin, firing spring, cocking piece, and the safety housing and the safety lever. To remove the lever, put it into the right position and just take it out. Now to reassemble the bolt, just do everything in reverse. Put the lever back in the housing. Take the firing pin, put it back in the washer. It's sometimes called the stock takedown disc. It doesn't really matter. Now take your housing and put it back onto the firing pin. I'm just doing everything from an awkward angle, so it might take a while. Compress the spring again and put on the cocking piece and rotate it 90 degrees so that it will fit into a little crevice. It'll fit into this little groove right here. So that's about it. Now all you have to do is insert it back into the bolt body and turn clockwise. And until you can't take it any further, then just put it back in the rifle and depress the follower. There you go. There are two different ways to load the Kar98k. Obviously, on the battlefield, faster is better, and that's done with what's called a stripper clip or charger clip. Holds 5 rounds. It's a piece of stainless steel with another piece of steel inside that acts as a spring. Now to load it, what you do is you open the bolt and you make sure the bolt's all the way back, and you insert the stripper clip in the stripper clip guide or the stripper clip notch. There's 1,000 different names for it. And you can see there's 3 dimples on here. The top of the notch will catch on the first dimple, and it doesn't matter which way you put it in. Push down, and then close the bolt. The stripper clip will get knocked out. It will be bumped out of the way, so there's no need to pull it out by hand. I don't know why people do it. They insist on doing it to not hurt their gun. This will not hurt your gun. This is how it's meant to be done. Alternatively, you can also load the Kar98k with up to 5 loose rounds. Again, open the bolt, just insert each one into the magazine and push down. Alright, I'm going to give an alternate view of a stripper clip loading. So again, retract the bolt. Make sure the bolt is all the way back. If you just push the bolt forward and you realize that you have an empty weapon, but you leave it there, you can see how the bolt is in the recess where you would stick the stripper clip. So make sure the bolt's all the way back. Again, just stick your stripper clip into the guides and then push. Then close the bolt. Sometimes you have to give a bit of a shove to get the clip out, but that's perfectly normal. Sometimes the clip might be a bit oversized. That one didn't require too much force. Okay, I'll be demonstrating a lesser known fact out there about the Mauser Kar98k and other 98 series Mauser rifles in general. And that's you can fit 6 rounds into the rifle. Now you can only fit 5 into the magazine. The 6th one has to go into the chamber. So for this one, for this exercise, I'll be using a 5-round stripper clip and a loose round. For the first 5 rounds, load as you would normally by either a loose round or clip. I'm going to use a clip. So that's 5 rounds right there. Don't close the bolt because you need to fit the 6th one into the chamber. Take the stripper clip out, toss it. Now, you can't fit any more into the magazine, but what you can do is you can push down using your thumb such that the bolt, when pushed forward, will not catch the first round. Now for the 6th round, don't put it into the chamber, because if you do that, the claw extractor has to ride over the rim, the base of the rim. So, and you do that too much, it'll probably end up damaging your extractor. So what you do is you, right around the shoulder, the neck area of the rounds underneath it, push down on that with the 6th round and then push the bolt forward. It should catch the, yep, and it caught the claw extractor as if normally, as if during its normal operation, will catch the rim, as you can see right there, like in a regular controlled feed. And this weapon is on safe, by the way, in the topmost position. So now you have 6 rounds in the gun. Count with me. Count with me, children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 rounds. There you go. To unload the Mauser Kar98k, you can do so by one of 2 ways. The first one, and perhaps the most obvious, is to just cycle the bolt until no more cartridges remain in the magazine. The other way is to take like the tip of a bullet or a cleaning rod or something sharp and pointy, and you'll see there's a little button there. What you want to do is take the tip of the bullet, push it into that button, and then apply a little pressure downwards towards the butt of the gun, up here. The magazine plate will just pop out. Like such. And then just dump your rounds out. And that's that. Put the magazine back into the rifle. Again, just do it in the reverse. And there you go.
Okay. Ready, Charlie?
He's a little too into it. I know, it's kind of scary. Goddamn Vietnamese.
Smile, Charlie. Okay. Way to go, Charlie.
Shooting for a group this time. My last 10 rounds went high and to the right, but this time I'm going to aim for the head. Let's see how I do. Oh shit. Kar98k is impressive. Very, very accurate. Shoots a bit high on the right, but that's because it's 50 meters and we're at 100. It's at a 100-yard battle sight minimum, and a bit to the right because of the wind. And I shot at the head 5 rounds just for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I distinctly remember throwing that round. That was my fault. But yep, 50 meters.